What's up, all you good people, and welcome to Caffeine and Conversation. My name is Shar, and I serve as your host, your navigator, as we journey through living life successfully after divorce. Because it is possible. I am a living witness, and I want you to be a living witness as well. Here at Caffeine and Conversation, our mantra is always moving forward. It's something that I've lived by for many years now, and I hope that you can adopt that mantra as well. If this is your first time here, welcome. And if you've been here before, welcome back. If you want a little backstory or context on Caffeine and Conversation, I will link my introductory video on one of these sides. You'll see a little eye. I never remember which side it's on, but you'll see a little eye. Click on that, and that'll give you the backstory on how this channel was birthed and what we're doing here at Caffeine and Conversation. So before we get started, let's just do the housekeeping rules as we always like to do. First, I am not a counselor or therapist or expert in anything. I am a woman who at 40 years old and after 20 years of marriage was going through a divorce. Definitely one of the worst things I've experienced in my life, but through that experience, I learned so much about myself, about what I wanted, what I needed. I learned so much more about God, and my relationship with God deepened and grew to a level that I had not experienced before. And that relationship with God, as well as a great support system, along with a wonderful support group called Divorce Care, brought me to a place of wholeness and wellness and of being healed, and it is possible. I will put a link in the description box to Divorce Care. Maybe there's a Divorce Care group in your area that you can connect with. The group that I connected with was a great group of people who offered sound, godly, wise counsel. And being part of that group was pivotal to me coming to where I am now, which is living my life successfully, very successfully after divorce. Also, this is a place of positivity, and that's how we want to keep it. And when I say we, I mean the community here at Caffeine and Conversation. Though we are small in numbers right now, we are growing, and keeping things positive is part of us just coming together, sharing thoughts, sharing ideas, commenting. If you want to say something directly to me, or if you're commenting on a comment that someone else has made, all I ask is that you be respectful and keep things positive. The vibe over here is good, y'all, and we want to keep it good. So let's just all respect one another and keep that good vibe going, okay? All right, I think that is all of the housekeeping I have for us. Do you have your caffeinated beverage? I've got mine here. Let me grab mine here. I have it in my favorite Christmas mug. No, it is not Christmas, but it is the beginning of November. And, we're moving into that season, but this mug, I drink out of this mug like year round. It is my favoriteest mug. The weight of it, the way my coffee tastes in it, I don't know, something about it. So, if you have your caffeinated beverage, maybe your caffeinated beverage is not coffee, maybe it's something else, go ahead and take a sip. Because we're about to get into this week's session. And this week, we are talking about loneliness. We are talking about loneliness. A true and very heavy emotion when you're going through divorce. It may be the greatest feeling that you have is loneliness. And I will tell you that when I was going through separation and divorce, I felt so lonely until I began to do the work of learning about me, what I wanted, what I needed, what I liked, what I didn't like. Knowing that loneliness is not about just missing a person, and just learning all of those things, I began to move past loneliness, getting into a place of, I like me. I like spending time with me. And yeah, and you too can move past that. So let's just kind of do a little definition of loneliness, okay? Loneliness is an emotional response to isolation. It is a lack of connection. And loneliness can be felt even when there are people all around you. Have you ever been to an event and maybe you don't know anyone else in the room, or maybe you do know people in the room, but you're just not connecting to them? You feel alone. And people don't necessarily feel that loneliness in your life. I believe that that loneliness has to be filled, and this may sound really weird, but it has to be filled by you. And how do you feel the loneliness? How do you fill the void? One of the ways that I've filled that void in my life is sitting with myself, opening myself up to conversation with God, communing with Him. And to me, this is what that means. Reading my Bible, also praying, because praying is just you and God having a conversation. Don't make prayer difficult. It's not a hard thing. We do not have to come to God speaking in the King James Version of the Bible. What do I mean by that? O thou Lord, if this is thou, will be thou willeth. No, this is how I come to God. Okay, God, look, what I'm going through right now is tough, it's hard, and I need some help. Help me. This is what I mean by conversation. God is not impressed with big words. He's not impressed with how much you know or don't know. It's your heart. And if you're coming to Him sincere, if you're coming to Him with your real feelings, He will meet you at that place. So just be real, okay? Just be real with it, okay? So filling that void through prayer, through reading, through alone time, just sitting still with myself. I read a lot of inspirational and self-help type of materials that were just centered around looking at myself and learning more about, again, my wants and my needs and what I wanted to do in order to live a fulfilled life. And you know, I think back to when I was married to my former spouse. I had periods of loneliness even being married, because the connection, we were losing that connection, especially as we were moving into the separation and divorce time. You could feel the lack of connection. And I learned that being married does not cure loneliness, or being in a relationship does not cure loneliness. It doesn't cure it. And like I just said, the cure to loneliness, you're the key. You're the key, because once you begin to enjoy you, once you find yourself, and I know people like to say that, I have to find myself, but there really is a discovery of yourself, especially when you're going through divorce. You're really learning who you are outside of being someone's husband or someone's wife. And I believe that that is key to curing loneliness. So if you're going through this right now, how are you responding to loneliness? Like, how are you coping? What are you doing? to move through that. I know many people do many things to move through that. Some folks shop. I'm not mad at shopping. But when we're doing it in an obsessive type of way, in a way to, as a distraction to not wanting to be alone or to think about being alone, then that can become a problem. Maybe it's food, or maybe it's drinking, or maybe it's moving into something more serious, like drugs and things like that. And we definitely know that that's detrimental to us. But anything that we, like overindulge in, over obsess in, can be detrimental. I do know that one thing that will not cure loneliness is becoming sexually involved with someone. That does not cure loneliness. It may satisfy your flesh. It may make you feel good for a few moments, but it does not cure loneliness. Stick around to the end of our session today. I got a little story time I want to share with you about more about that, okay? How else are you coping? I know one way that I coped that I soon found out wasn't very beneficial. I'm going to speak for women, and men, you can put this in context for you. Leaning on my male friends. Okay, so I found myself just talking more to my male friends because I was missing a man in my life. And I wasn't trying to get with my male friends. It was just talking to them, getting that attention from them. I'm not gonna lie, it felt nice. It felt nice to talk to someone, and they were being nice, and they were reminding me that I was a good person, and all of those things. But that can open the door for an emotional connection to your friends of the opposite sex that you may not be ready for. And I know it did that for me. And I had to step back because I could feel and I could see that I was getting a lot of pleasure out of hearing from a man, like I said, you're a great person, you're doing the right thing, I support you, I'm here for you. And, hearing that from a man was satisfying to me. And another friend of mine, a girlfriend of mine, brought it to my attention. And I was like, okay, this is not what I do not need to open that door. And I'm so glad to have great friends in my life like that, who can just remind me and who only have my best interests. And my friend, she was like, you see what's happening here? You're not ready for that. You don't need this right now. You don't need that kind of energy right now. So you need to back off. And I did. And I'm so glad that I did, because for a couple reasons. One, I maintained the friendship with my male friend. We're still friends. We're still homies. Now it's like, what's up? You know what I'm saying? It's still friendly. And I could emotionally, I did not go down that road, because going down that road emotionally would have probably been one of the worst things for me. So I am so glad to have friends that can reel me back in. And I hope you have a few friends like that as well. I want you to remember that singleness is not a sickness, okay? And it's not bad unless you decide that it's going to be bad and you just don't want to look at it any other way. And I can understand, because I felt this kind of feeling of being incomplete. You've been part of a team for so long. You've been partnering with someone, in my case, for 20 years. You partnered with someone, you're a team, you're making decisions together, you're doing things together, you're buying homes and you're buying cars and you're raising your children and you're going on vacations and all these things together. And now, just one, it's just you. And people, we all say there's no I in team. Of course there's no I in team. But I became just a lonely little member of a team that no longer existed. And it was hard. It really was hard. But doing the work made me realize that I was never incomplete in the first place. That my former spouse did not complete me as a person. I want to make this clear. He did not complete me as a person. He was a team member. He was a partner. He was a friend, but he didn't make me complete. Only God can make you complete. That is what I had to learn. And once I realized that Charlotte as a person was good, that Charlotte as a woman was whole, I could begin to see that I'm going to be all right. I may be single and I may be by myself, but this loneliness will not be a part of me forever, because I acknowledged it and I was doing the work and I was taking the steps and I was walking out the process to move forward. Now, let me say this to you about the process, okay? I had to hit that reset button a couple times on the process, because there are going to be mistakes that you're going to make along the way. So do not beat yourself up if you have to say, you know what, I just messed all that up. I'm going to have to start over. Hit that reset button and then keep it pushing. There are going to be mistakes made along the way, okay? There's nothing easy about going through divorce, okay? There's so much to figure out, and life looks completely different now. It's not a one-time thing. You may have to get in there and you're doing it and you're like, oh man, I messed up. Reset, and you get in there and you're getting to doing it again. You might mess up again. Reset, but you know what? You're learning along the way, because I'm telling you, it really is a journey. You may get tired of hearing me say that or hear other people say that, but it is a journey that you gotta walk out and you gotta keep moving through it. And it is personal. My journey is not looking like her journey. It's not looking like his journey. And your journey is not gonna look like mine, because we are individuals. We are one of a kind beings. And all of our experiences may be similar, but they're not the same. And they're going to play out differently. So just remember that when you're maybe looking at somebody else who has gone through divorce or is going through divorce, and you're wondering, why are they doing this? Or why is their situation looking like that and my situation looking like this? I'm over here all lonely and sad, and they're happy, and maybe they're in a different place in their journey. Maybe they've already come through that part. Never compare. Never compare, okay? Comparison is the thief of joy. That's just a little side note. That's a little extra. You can have that one for free, okay? But just get to the place where you enjoy your singleness. Believe me, it does not happen overnight, okay? It does not happen overnight. But I am so glad that I got to that place of just enjoying being single, making decisions just for myself, going out to eat by myself. It is not a terrible thing. A table of one is not a bad thing, but people like to look at people sitting alone in a restaurant like, oh, look at them. They all by themselves. I would be like, honey, don't feel sad for me. I'm enjoying my meal. I can sit here for as long as I want. I'm going to order dessert and I'm going to eat the whole thing by myself. When you can get to that place of just going to places and enjoying your own company. I mean, I was going to movies, I was going to concerts. I would go just shopping by myself just because I had to learn that that's how life was going to be. And once I accepted that, I was okay. It took time. Don't get me wrong. It took time, but in that time, I really just began to embrace me and learning me and what I like and what I don't like and where I want to go and where I don't want to go, and, you know, making decisions on your own. Let me tell you something about that. That was tough in the beginning because there was always someone to advise. What do you think about that? How should we go about that? Do you think we should do this? And now I didn't have co-counsel. I didn't have someone else to chime in and to give advice and to offer their perspective. It was just me. And I was like, okay, so how am I going to do this? I'm going to do it this way. And that was the only answer that mattered. And in time, I embraced it. And, you know, having godly counsel from people that I trust and just praying about things and not acting on things as soon as they came to my mind, I made a lot of great decisions in that time that were beneficial to me and to my children, because I also knew that my decisions solely would affect them. So learning to trust myself, learning to trust that what I thought and what I cared about mattered. And that was something that I did not always feel when I was married before. But being single, being in that place of having to make those decisions, I learned. I'm like, man, I'm smart. I really did. I learned so much about myself. And I'm not saying that maybe not so much things I didn't know, but things that I maybe had suppressed for a lot of years. And during that time of divorce and separation, those things became unearthed and they came back up to the surface. And I was like, you know what? I do like doing that. And I do enjoy, you know what I'm saying? It was those types of things that singleness brought back to the surface. And such a beautiful experience. Such a beautiful experience. And I'm just glad that I was on the journey, but I wasn't alone. That I had, like I said before, I had great people. I had my divorce care family. I had my time with God and just learning myself and hearing from other people's experiences. It was so, the benefits of that are still things that I carry with me today. I still refer back to many of the lessons that I learned in divorce care and the time that I just got to spend and to sit and talk with people and just to receive from them. So beneficial, and still things that I use to this day. So we're gonna wrap this up, okay? I want you to reach out, like I said, to friends or family or just good people that you can have in your life. Reach out to them. Make sure they're godly people that trust and believe the same way that you do. Taking the focus off of you can also help. And one way that I did that was by serving other people, by helping other people. Focusing on the needs of others takes the focus off of you. It's a great, for lack of a better term, it's a great distraction. It's a great way to just center energy on others and just kind of, it gives you just something else to focus on when you're deciding that, you know what, I'm going to help this person or I'm going to serve these people. as a way of you help them, but you're helping yourself as well. So just, making yourself available to other people. And that truly does help. It really does help. And you find such a satisfaction in it. And I think that's part of doing the work, because it does bring you to a place of just fulfillment and of joy. All right. So I mentioned earlier a little story time. If you stuck around this far, then here's a little story time for you. When we're talking about, let's just be real, okay? Loneliness, the physical of being lonely, missing being intimate with someone. So, and I'm going to share this because this might help somebody. I was definitely in a place of feeling very neglected physically. Let's just be real. I was not having any kind of physical touch, physical anything with anybody. And I was missing that closeness. I was missing being intimate with someone. So I met someone virtually, and we had been talking, and yeah. So that person and I decided we were gonna hook up. And when I say hook up, I mean hook up, casual sex, let's do this, okay? And I'm driving on my way to meet this person. I got all my good on. I got my hair did. I got my little best outfit on. I'm smelling good. I'm looking good. Makeup is on point, okay? So I'm driving to the place. And I have the radio on. And this song comes on. And the song is called Your Destiny. I'm going to link that song in the description box because you need to listen to it. I want you to listen to it. You have to listen to it. You must listen to it, okay? So the song comes on, and I had never heard it before, so I'm just driving, I'm listening to the song, and it's playing. And I promise y'all, I feel like my radio turned up, like the volume turned up on its own at this particular part. I'm going to read you the words. It says, "No, it ain't worth that skirt. No, it ain't worth that tie. No, it ain't worth that girl. No, it ain't worth that guy. Your destiny is too important to give up for anything." And when I heard that part of the song, tears just streaming down my face. I just lost it because I realized what I was going to do. Let's be real. I was going to go be with someone that I did not know, okay? To have sex with this person because my flesh was craving attention. I have no idea what could have happened in that moment. I was on the interstate. I did a U-E on the interstate, at one of those little areas that say authorized vehicles only. I did a U-E on the interstate and I took my behind back home and I cried it out for the rest of the night. But I know that that song saved my life. And even thinking about it right now makes me emotional because I could have walked into anything, but because I was so lonely and I so desired the attention and the touch from someone else that I was willing to put my life at risk. And that's basically what I was doing, was putting my life at risk, all for a couple minutes of pleasure. No ma'am, no sir. And I thank God for speaking to me through that song. Like I said, my radio, it turned up on its own. The volume went up and it spoke to me and it stopped me dead in my tracks. Why am I sharing this? Because I want you to know that nobody else is worth ruining your destiny. If I would have done that, it could have altered the course of my life for the rest of my life. Loneliness is hard. Loneliness is difficult. But I want you to know you can get through it. Reach out. Reach out. You are not an island. You cannot do this alone. Reach out. Even if it's to me, just reach out. Because loneliness, it will take you to a dark, dark place. Don't think that trying to do this on your own is the noble thing to do. It's not. It's not. It's not. I promise you it's not. And I'm pretty hard-headed, and it's hard for me to ask for help. But I had to reach out for help because I knew that I could not do this on my own. So, I say all that to say to you, the flesh is a powerful thing. It really is. And I'm so glad that God saved me from myself that night. Because I don't know. I don't know. And I think about the woulda, coulda, shouldas, the what ifs. Nah. I'm good. I'm good. So, thank you all. I know this session was a little different and it's a little longer, but I feel like it's important because the subject of loneliness is so real and I don't think a lot of people are talking about it. So if you've made it to this far, this is the end of our session. If you made it to the end of our session, thank you so much. And now you can decide if you want to subscribe or not. I hope that you do, but I will not be mad if you don't. But if you decide to subscribe, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell, so you will know when I upload new videos. Thank you so, so much for being here for this session. I appreciate you guys so, so much. And I'm grabbing my caffeinated beverage because I'm going to need more of this now. But I just want you to be well because the goal is to always be well. I hope to see you guys back. I'll be back soon. I'll be back soon for our next session here at Caffeine and Conversation. Be good, guys. Later.